Ruben Amorim has to be the most stubborn coach ever. And I'll show you why as I deep dive into the last Manchester derby where Manchester City beat Manchester United by 3 goals to nil. Welcome back to another episode of Ball IQ Podcast. And we're back. Flying solo again today. Nelson couldn't make it today, but today I'll be talking about how Ruben Amorim just might be coaching himself out of a job at this point because the problem that United have is so obvious, I feel like, and he's just not doing anything to correct it. So we're gonna do something a little different today. We're just gonna just jump straight into the IQ deep dive and break down how Manchester City beat Manchester United by 3 goals to nil. The game was as straightforward as they come for the most part. Uh, Formations, both teams stuck to what they do in terms of lineup. City playing a back four with Kusanov, which is surprising, playing right back. Um, yeah, center back pairing per usual, and playing O'Reilly on the left back, I believe his name is. Roderick returns as a six, with the two eights being Reinders here on the right, and Folding as the left eight, which was very surprising. But in watching the game, you understand why Guardiola played Folding that deep as an eight on the left side. Um, and he played Bernardo Silva on the right, Doku on the left, and Big Man Haaland up top. And for United, no surprise here. Their back three, Euro, Delict and Shaw, Dogu, left wing back, Mazrari, excuse me, right wing back came back. Ugarte and Bruno holding. The two tens were Mbuemo and Ahmad, and they started Sheshko up top. Last episode, we broke down what we felt United should have done to pretty much prevent what pretty much happened yesterday at the Manchester Derby. United, because of how they are set up, especially in possession, they're set up somewhat like this, where it turns into a 3-4-3 essentially going forward. Um, they become very very dangerous in, you guessed it, transitions. United had more possession than Man City, which is interesting, knowing that Man City is coached by Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola plays possession football, but him, just like pretty much a lot of you guys, knew how weak United are up transition once they lose the ball. I mean, all pretty much the goals happened. Most of the chances created, and when City were dangerous was when they won the ball off United. You can think of Haaland's second goal, um, and all the chances that created. Tijani Ryder should have made it 4-0, and situations like that. It was just so obvious because when, say, City win the ball this deep, there's always an extra midfielder open. If United press is usually Foden around this area, or if United are in the mid block and they like so and Haaland pushes forward, it's either Foden or um, the Rodri always has time on the ball. And the fact that one midfielder already has time on the ball, it makes it worse when one of the wingers inverts just to create another overload here and create another overload here. And O'Reilly pushes up top and they leave back three like this. It's so bad for United. It's so bad. The transition is so obvious uh, to exploit. On the first goal, Doku was just in pockets of space. You could just receive the ball from another free person, Rodri, like I said, and turn and shimmy um, Shore goes into the box, crosses the ball for folding from the end to come in here. And again, just like we mentioned last week about how Bruno playing in the eight can be a problem in transition because he doesn't have the instincts to like watch over his shoulders to follow his man and things of that nature. Foden was his man. In fact, when Foden scored, United had about 7 players in the box. 7 players, about 7 players in the box. And Foden was still free for a second cross to score to take to give Manchester United a lead. I don't understand, and honestly, I think that um, when you have that many people in the box, sometimes if you're not a well organized team, there's miscommunication where like, okay, whose man is this kind of thing? Because we're like 3 people here, so who is going to take the responsibility and take this guy running into the box unmarked? It's actually pretty bad. It's approaching um it's approaching insanity if I'm going to be really honest with you. It's actually insane. It's actually very insane. On the ball, like United did some good things, very, very few good things where uh, they finally tried to look for Sesko in the box a couple of times, but not nearly enough. United created 2 big chances in this game. City created 4. Last week, I was breaking down how United need to create more big chances, and they don't create more big chances because they're not set up to create more big chances. Everybody misses chances. Everybody does. The How you combat missing chances is by creating more chances, and United don't. They created 2 big chances. That's their season average this season, and it was a season average last season. City created 4 big chances, and obviously they're clinical. Around you would expect around 40 to 50% of the big chances you create that you actually convert if you have quality in the team. That's why you create a lot of chances. Haaland missed a chance that he should be scoring that hit the post. Tijani Randa missed, you know, a 1v1 that he could easily dink um, uh, the keeper or squared it to Doku to score. But nobody would really remember them because City won 3-0. They created other big chances. United are overpowered in the midfield, outnumbered in the midfield, and this coach sees this and just refuses to do anything. He says after the game, he's sticking to his philosophy, sticking to this, sticking to that. You, uh, I don't know. I think at this point, the body language to me reads like somebody that wants to be put out of his misery. We will never hear advocate for somebody to get fired or anything like that, but it, he's not helping himself at all. He's not helping himself at all. Um, if he had played how we suggested, which is, again, the four in the back, essentially how we suggested he plays is exactly what City did to them. That's exactly verbatim. Like, I mean, for like position for position how we said he should play, which is 4-3-3. Um, One of the fullbacks can go forward. In our instance, we wanted Mazrari on the right to go forward, or Dalo if he had played, and Shola stayed back to form the back three. But City did Kuzanov to stay back with the two, and O'Reilly going forward and roaming in here, creating overloads, creating that extra man. They are able to have effective possession of the ball in the final third, create more chances, have more run. Not just Haaland, have more runners in the box. Like you would think this thing is very straightforward, but for some reason it's not for Amorim, and he's sticking to his guns. And I think that is the issue with modern coaches, in my opinion. Some of them, anyway. In my opinion, there's no adaptability. There's just too rigid, and for what I don't understand. That's what, only 8 wins in 31 or something like that. 26% win, like that is atrocious for for a Manchester United manager. We thought Eric Ten Hag is as bad as it gets. Ruben Amorim said, "Hold my beer." This game was so bad for United, and this is City weren't even in their pump. Like I said, they didn't have as much possession per usual. They weren't as clinical as they could have been, and they're coming off two losses, and so technically in worse form than United, technically. But you could just see it from kickoff. You could just see it. This two man mid double eight, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know when he's going to realize that it doesn't work. And I don't think it doesn't sound like it's going to change. Even Ange changed his philosophy for Spurs and it won them a trophy against Manchester United. This is let me know what you think because I'm are you as befuddled as I am? Because I am just confused why this adjustment is not made. All the top coaches since I've been watching the game, all the top coaches have made um, changes to their formation. The philosophy will remain the same, but to their formation, they've made changes to be effective. All the Guardiola did make changes. I mentioned earlier in last episode or two episodes ago, I should say, where the signing of Donnarumma was a sign to me that okay, maybe he doesn't want to play build up on the back as much because why would you let Edison go and sign Trafford and Donnarumma? He must be wanting to do something different because it didn't work last season, and he looks like he's trying to do something different. Every coach, every great coach that I've known since I've been watching the game, they've always done something different with their shape based on like the personnel they have, but the philosophy remains the same. Another example is my team, Real Madrid. We won the last Champions League we won. We won it with playing 4-diamond 2. Ancelotti was playing his old AC Milan formation. Personally, I'll be honest with you. In the beginning of the season, I'm like, okay, this is a transition year. We're waiting for Mbappe, so Jose will have to do. Excuse me, and I don't know if this front four, Vinny and Rodrigo, I mean front two, excuse me, of Vinny and Rodrigo will work because they're wingers. But we won the League of Champions League because he made adjustments. And in games where those two aren't working, it brings out one of the midfielders, brings in Joselu, changes the shape to affect the game. This guy subs off the league to bring in Maguire, just like for like, not doing anything different. You're 2-0 down, you're subbing out your defender for another defender. I don't This guy is funny. this this guy is actually funny. He's actually a comedian. But from a City standpoint, it was again, like I said, they're not in their full pump, but obviously a derby win will always do wonders to your confidence as a team and 3-0 clean sheet back on the right side of the win, lose or draw column and they push and United another loss for Ruben Amorim. Um, I won't be surprised if we see anything change in the next couple of days. To be honest with you, I'll be surprised if this guy lasts si- uh, 2 or 3 more games. We'll see, but we'll see. Funny things have happened in the game, so we'll see. But that was the IQ deep dive. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments on how the game went, what you thought that United should have done better at, what they did do good at, if you've spotted anything, and how City played and the likes. Um, I'll go through a quick recap of what happened last a week. Grealish won Player of the Month for the Prem, which is fantastic for him. I'm glad for him, buzzing for him because, like I mentioned a couple episodes ago, it's very difficult when you're playing a certain way and being successful at it personally, then switching your game to something else for that long. I think about three seasons thereabout, and then moving on to another team to try and rediscover your previous self. That's not easy to do, but he started off very strong, and long may he continue. And congratulations to Jack Grealish, another old school, not old school baller, but a prior baller that is regaining his form is Nicolas Pepe, who was also Player of the Month um for La Liga, which is very impressive. Um, I think one of the games of the week, apart from the Manchester Derby, was Juve Inter. That was a fantastic game. Juve won 4-3. Chanalulu was banging in goals like he was in training. Yildiz scored a top goal. The Turan brothers uh, scored off corners back to back. And then the Adzic Golasso winner, like that game had everything. And I mean, what about the Turan brothers playing against each other and scoring with their dad in the stands? That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to see. You don't see that often in the game. So the fact that you know we got to see that they both scored. Obviously, somebody had to lose in that case, but I think I'm sure Lilian Thuram as a dad um, would have been glad that his Juve won and both his sons scored in the same game. So that was pretty good. Staying in Italy, Hoyland scored on his debut. This United course has to be a real thing because this is getting it's getting hilarious. Hoyland scored on his debut. He did miss a decent chance, but he did score. Again, players will miss chances. That's why they need multiple chances. But he scored in Napoli's win away at Fiorentina um, against De Gea, which was another United reject. It's just this thing is just poetic in my opinion. Um, and going back to um, England, Liverpool just narrowly defeated Burnley 1-0, last minute penalty by Salah. Um, Liverpool are just they are finding ways to win. They haven't found their groove, but they're finding ways to win. So um, yes, you can say they're not playing well yet, but do you expect them to keep not playing well? The fact that they are not playing well yet and are still winning is, if I was a Liverpool fan, a good sign. Because you know that at some point in the season, maybe next month, I'd say tops, they will kick in and they still have Isak to come in and do business for them. So the fact that they're not playing well and winning every single game should be a threat to everybody in the league. Everybody should just be wary of them. Um, and in Spain, Barcelona won 6-0 against Valencia. Pretty straightforward win for them. And Real Madrid won 2-1 away at Sociedad. Real Madrid went down 10 men. Dean Huijsens got a red card, which was not a red card because he wasn't the last man. And since then, the VAR for the game has been suspended for, I think, a game or a week or some funny like that. And this is not the first time this has happened to Real Madrid, where I think Real Madrid have the highest disallowed goals, either disallowed goals or they've been affected the most by VAR in the league, and the second is not even close. It's pretty bad, and I believe Fiorentino Perez is, if he hasn't done this already, putting a complaint into FIFA, and obviously he's going to get clowned like on the internet. But honestly, I mean, I'm a Real Madrid fan, so maybe you can say I'm biased, but it's not good. The officiating in Spain is not good. Not good at all. But again, 4 wins out of 4 for Xabi Alonso. Team looks very well. Mbappe looks on a mission. He's playing like somebody possessed right now and had a fantastic game for us with Adagula. Streets are saying Mbappe Adagula is it's like the Cristiano Ozil vibes. And for us, it brings trophies for us. Say, um, more of that, please. More of that. We'll go to player of the week. Like I said, earlier about the Juve Inter game. I should say Chanalulu was on smoke, so he's definitely a contender. Grimaldo scored two amazing free kicks to give Bayer Leverkusen their first win of the season post Eric Ten Hag. Ferman Lopez scored um, two goals for Barcelona, two very, very nice goals as well. Mbappe played well as well. So a lot to choose from player of the week standpoint. Personally, I will go with Grimaldo because they definitely, obviously, Haaland scored two goals as well for Manchester City. But in terms of all around play, I'm leaning towards Grimaldo. Let me know what you think or who you think should have been player of the week. And for finish of the week, again, Grimaldo's second free kick was actually the best out of both. Rafa Mir scored a nasty free kick for Elche as well. Nico Paz is Nico Paz is balling. Nico Paz is balling. And of course, Chanalulu's second goal. Both goals. I mean, either one you can shoot. Take your pick. Um, I'm leaning Chanalulu's second goal just because the setup, the dramatics, it was just electrifying. Um, so that's for me. I'm leaning towards that. Again, this is just all my personal opinion. So please let me know what you think. Or if there's a goal that I may have missed or omitted, please let me know in the comments. And for the upcoming fixtures this week, Champions League is back tomorrow at time of recording. Um, some big games starting already. I know Real Madrid were playing Marseille um, at home, but I mean, Athletic Arsenal is going to be a very good game that I think a lot of people will be sleeping on. Bayern Chelsea has to be the game of the round for sure, and obviously Liverpool Atleti. When I saw that fixture, I remember Atleti's when they beat Liverpool at Anfield and Llorente slid past Morata's celebration. Just that image just stays in my head. But that should be a good game as well. Atleti didn't start the season well. They did win their last game, their last league game, but they didn't start the season well. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of Atleti shows up away at Anfield. And during the weekend, the big games are again in England. Man U Chelsea will be a big game again. I'm sure Nelson has a big week. Chelsea has a big week, and I expect Nelson to be locked in this week into his team. Um, Playing Bayern away and United away in a few days is actually kind of crazy with the injuries that they have as well. So, big week for Chelsea for sure. And of course, Arsenal, who is playing away to Athletic, will be playing at home to Man City this Sunday, which is, of course, uh, electric. Both teams coming off wins. Um, Arsenal lost their first big game of the season to Liverpool. Um, this fixture provided some classics last season, both games, in my opinion. So that will be a big game to watch out for this weekend. And that's the show. Uh, Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please, in the comments, let me know what you thought about the Manchester Derby, who you thought the player of the week should have been, who you thought the goals of the week should have been, and what games you are looking forward to in the next week. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.